today I'm excited about this because we've been doing foreground, middle ground, and background. And here's the image that I want to actually have done. This is the final product. And here we have the background, the sky, don't mind the windows. And we have the middle ground, which is the sea. Then we have the foreground, which is this area that is the stand. So this is the very front, this is the middle ground, and then here would be the background all the way to here, okay? So we have an umbrella that's in the middle ground with a little chair here. We have a foreground object, which is this big umbrella, and then we have this chair. So I'm going to hit new document and start this. This process is like a fun one. So I'm going to press new and I'm going to pick white color and create. We're using the same tools we did from the previous project with the actual beach also, and I showed you how to make some of this. Now we're going to do some blending with the brush tool. So here we have the brush tool right here. I've picked it out. You can choose what you're using right here. We're using the brush tool again. And I'm going to start out with the sand area. This one's a little easier because it's not wavy like the other one. So this one is a straight line. So I'm going to pick my sand color right here. Here it is. Remember the line width. If you make your line width larger, that's for coloring in. If you make it smaller, that's more for drawing. Blurring is nice. We're going to talk about that today. So right now I don't want it blurry though, because I want to fill in my areas. So right here on the bottom, not all the way at the bottom, but about 2 inches tops, you're going up. So you go 1, 2, and then you're going to go straight across. This is my sand. And this time we're going to fill in those areas of color right away. So this is your first step. I want to make sure, I'm going to pause. I want to check for understanding that they know that we're using a brush tool and that you're on the right path. So pause and we're back. All right, so now I'm going to go to the brush tool. I'm going to use this. Here's where we talk about that blur tool and the line width. Okay, so we're going to keep it at this color, and then we're going to go and make that brush bigger so we can fill it in. We don't need to be blurred just yet, but as you can see, I can fill in that color really nicely with the bigger brush. So here I've colored in that area. Now we're going to work in layers with our middle ground and our background. So right now, when I look at that image, I have right now I'm going to color in the middle ground. So I'm going to go to my brush. I'm going to change my color. And as you can see with the image on the left, we have a darker line and then we have a lighter blue. So we have a dark blue and a lighter blue, and it's kind of blurring together. So right now we're going to draw that light blue line, and I'm going to choose this color blue for me. And my brush is too big for my liking, so I'm going to go down a brush right there. It's 32 points. That's a nice one. And I'm going to go right, not totally the middle. That would be the middle, just a little ways down right here. And I'm going to go straight across. Now this is my ocean. Okay, so I'm going to fill in this area all light blue. Go to my brush, make the line width larger so I can fill in this area. This is a nice layering effect. That's how we're going to draw this one. And as you can see, using shape, we're still using shape. This is a rectangle. This is a rectangle. Okay. Now, just as promised, Miss Strauss is going to show you the blur tool, and we're going to do a little bit of gradients. So we are going to click on this outline right here. I'm going to use a dark blue. That's really dark blue. It's fine. I'm going to pull the blur out right here all the way to 55, like at the end, and make it a little smaller brush. And then on the top of that ocean, like in the image that I had already done, you can see it's blurring the ocean with this light blue. That's beautiful. Okay, so now I'm going to use a little more light blue because I like more light blue. Here we go. Just blurring it a little bit more. Awesome. All right, that looks great. All right, I'm going to stop there to make sure everybody got the blur tool, how we made the lines larger. So my question is, how do we make the lines larger? How do we blur the paint in this digital painting? And pause. And we're back. So now we have the sky, and the sky is a bright blue also. So I'm going to go to that paintbrush. I'm going to go to the brightest blue. That's like, wow, that's sky. It's almost like a green blue. And I'm going to fill it in with a large brush. So here I have the line width. I'm going to make this brush larger. I'm going to bring back the blur and I want to fill it until I touch this C. Ooh, there we go. Nice. So just skimming that C, and now we have our sky. It looks beautiful. Beautiful. All right, I'm going to pause there to make sure everybody's here. If we need to share out our screens to get a little more attention with this, or we have a question, now's the time to ask before we start doing the umbrellas. So pause. And we're back. All right, so that was fun. Now, I want to add my umbrellas and my chairs. But before I do that, I just realized that we have a little bit of haze up here. Like the sky would be a little bit darker. So I'm going to use that darker blue, right like this. And I'm going to blur it out after we just talked about how we blur. And just on the top right there. That's it. And going back. So that's all that is. Now we're going to move forward with the umbrellas. And the umbrellas are really just a half circle with a wavy end. So I'm going to go and I'm going to make my umbrella red. I don't need it blurred out right now. I'm going to move this down like halfway. And I need the line a little bit smaller. So that's at like 28. You can count these spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4 at 4. This is a nice way of, it's a nice big brush. So I am going to, it's a medium, but large enough to draw with. So I'm going to make that half circle for my umbrella. And as you can see, I'm all the way up in the sky. And then I'm in the ocean with my umbrella as I'm drawing. I have that half circle. So everybody get that half circle now. Everybody get that on 3, 2, and 1. Just give me a thumbs up if you have that half circle and you understood that, because this is over top of the ocean and the sky. Half circle right here. Doesn't have to be perfect. I love when you make mistakes because mistakes are just happy accidents and they make us learn how to do things. All right, so we are back. I want to do a circle, half circle, half circle, half circle to make my umbrella. And then I'm going to put 2 lines going down like this because I would like to. And then I'm going to go to my paintbrush. I'm going to change the color just a little lighter, not too light. And I'm going to fill in that paintbrush. All right. So you can do that too. Okay. So there's your umbrella top. It's a little bit blurry. We'll add some lines at the end. That looks even to me. So there's your umbrella top. Now we're going to go to the paintbrush, go to the outline, and pure white. We're going to bring this line down so that it's not a big line, so we can draw, and the blur down. Now we're going to draw the umbrella stick that's inside the sand. So you're just going to draw a diagonal line, just like so, until you can see it. You can go over it a couple times. Oh, I didn't like that, so I just edit undo. That's the cool thing about drawing digitally. You can edit undo. And you guys should know, if you click the selection tool and you select something, you can delete it, okay? You also have these options up here. All right, so there we have our umbrella. Now, I'm going to move forward because we're just drawing shapes right now. And I'm going to do a chair. I had blue chairs in my original, but now I think, yeah, I'm going to keep it blue. So it'll be dark blue. I don't know if you've ever seen those rented chairs you can rent on the beach. I always bring my own, so they're expensive. But we are going to draw a square now. And I like where my line's at. So all we need, not a square, actually a rectangle. I'm not going to do a square. I want it longer. So I'm going to do a rectangle here. There is where our chair will be. So draw one rectangle here. We'll color them in a minute. So that's the first part of your chair. And then we are going to fill that in. So we can make that line larger and you can fill it in. See, when you use a larger line, bigger paintbrush. Okay, so there's our first part of our chair. The second part is we're going to click here and then we're going to go to the silver right here. I need a smaller line because it's going to be the silver part of the chair that the actual seat sits on. It has that metal part. And there it is. There's our chair and our lovely umbrella. Now we have our foreground objects. Now we need our middle ground objects, and we know this is the background. So now we're going for the middle ground. So right here, touching the sea, is going to be our other umbrella. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to change the color. I want it to be dark green, really stand out. And you're going to go right here to the left and in the middle, and you're going to start your umbrella. So it's again a half circle. And then 3 other half circles. You can fill it in right away. It really doesn't take that long to do. See that? If you wanted to start filling yours in and drawing it, that's fine. I'm going to do what next? We have the umbrella. We need what? Pause. And somebody said it. It is the pole that sticks in the sand. It has to be white so it stands out over this blue. And I'm going to place it right down here like it's diagonal. Perfect. I'm going to put my chair here. So I'm going to go back to the brush. I'm going to pick out that dark blue again. And I'm going to draw myself a rectangle right here to do my second chair. So rectangle right here. Of course, it's smaller because it's your middle ground. And the square in the beginning is bigger because it is your foreground. Going back to that silver. We already did this once. Now we're doing it again. And there's our little chair. Now, this is your independence right here. You can add any objects you want. In the background, I'm going to add some birds. But at this point, you should already have this. Now you're going to add things that you want in the painting. I'll show you how to add a bird. It would be a smaller line. And you just do this V shape right here in the distance because this is the background. You can add some clouds. It's all up to you. This is your independence right here where you're adding things that you think. But remember your perspective. Things would be smaller in the background. Things would be a medium in the middle ground. And then things would be larger in the foreground in the front. So go have some fun. I can't wait to see these, and I appreciate you so much.